Celtic Myths and Legends by T.W. Rolleston, Chapter 8, Myths and Tales of the Cymric. Gaelic and Cymric legend compared. The myths and legends of the Celtic race, which have come down to us in the Welsh language, are, in some respects, of a different character from those which we possess in Gaelic. The Welsh material is nothing like as full as the Gaelic, nor so early. The tales of the Mabinogion are mainly drawn from the 14th century manuscript entitled The Red Book of Hergest, one of them the romances of Taliesin, came from another source, a manuscript of the 17th century. The four oldest tales in the Mabinogion are supposed by scholars to have taken their present shape in the 10th or 11th century, while several Irish tales, like the story of Etain and Medir or the death of Connery, go back to the 7th or 8th. It will be remembered that the story of the invasion of Partholon was known to Nennius, who wrote about the year 800. As one might therefore expect, the mythological elements in the Welsh romances are usually more confused and harder to decipher than in the earlier of the Irish tales. The mythic interest has grown less, the story interest greater. The object of the bard is less to hand down a sacred text than to entertain a prince's court. We must remember also that the influence of the continental romances of chivalry is clearly perceptible in the Welsh tales, and in fact comes eventually to govern them completely. And it would be interesting to see how in those societies, as they I wouldn't say modernize, because technology doesn't necessarily change the values, but how America and other countries, what's going to happen to their mythology. We see the loss of the memory of a lot of these mythologies, but what happens if there's a revival? What is that revival going to be? And what is a revival of spirituality? Is it going to bring its own myths? Is it going to bring out forgotten myths or just dismissed myths? And how's that going to vary per native language and land?